Hey Barb, do you have passion for fashion?
Yes.
Really? Who's your favorite designer? No, you don't. And me neither. But I have passion for music, pop culture, and nostalgic cartoons from the 2000s.
That's why today we're making yet another huge Bratz doll, and this time we're inspired by the iconic Brat Summer. This time a sassy music lover and a hip-hop dancer, a Brat Summer Sasha. It's Bratz, you get it? Let's do it.
But before we start, we have one announcement. We're hosting a collaboration with our patrons and the topic is Monster Me. So if you would like to join the collab, check out our Patreon page for more details.
You might remember our first Bratz doll, Chloe, and she very generously let us use her head for wig making. The whole Sasha's design is built around the hairstyle. Since I designed these characters, I knew she's going to have big, voluminous, gorgeous boho goddess braids.
I watched some tutorials on how to make braids on humans and also Moonlight Jewel's box braid tutorial, so I was confident I can make it. The only thing I didn't expect was how much hair and how much time it's going to take. I'm showing you here how I braided the curly hair in, but this was the last braid I made and I had much more stable setup when braiding the rest. I'm securing the ends with glue and also flipping the top and gluing it to itself to secure the hair, but also to have a nicer edge. I also tried to make them with yellow and green ends, but it looked much more messy and the fade was not very smooth, so I didn't make more. But I made more of the brown ones. I think around 50. I have basic ones in two colors, one lighter and one darker, and one type with one curl and one type with two curls. I wanted to test how much I'll need first, and I made a sketch where I glued the braids, but it didn't work for me, so I covered it with paint again and drew only the top squares. I'm gluing the braids with hot glue, trying to make a chessboard kind of pattern. I'm using some of the braids with curls on the first layer, then adding the basic ones so I don't end up with a crazy volume. And then I up the curly ones on top. When I have everything in place, I'm painting the hair where it should be visible, so mainly on top of her scalp. I think this really created an illusion of box braids. Her nickname is Bunny Boo, so I couldn't stop myself from making two cute braided buns. I wrapped a piece of packaging foam in dark brown fabric and glued the braids around. Of course, they turned out into different shapes, but I feel like Brat Summer is all about being a little bit kinder to yourself and not giving a duck. The curls need some styling with gel so they don't stick out everywhere, and the wig is almost ready. By the way, I really like this styrofoam ball and this doll stand combo. The only thing is that I keep bumping that, and it's not the most stable thing ever. I really love how it turned out. I love the braids, I love the curls and the volume, and I always wanted to make this kind of hairstyle myself. I'm really happy that with every project I feel more and more comfortable with making wigs for our dolls.
Since we're evoking the now iconic Brat Summer, I started by making a pattern for a summer top that will be lime green and evoke the Y2K with the cringy lace and everything. Ugh. Of course, I had to use a lime green lycra as my base, as I actually had some left over for another project and it was perfect. And this pattern is quite simple, just a front and back and some white trim for the straps. Honestly, the hardest part was picking a trim that looked most like the Y2K tops that are coming back, along with the cringe and trauma of me remembering how I looked wearing those back then. I know Arial narrow when I see it, so making the print was a matter of picking the right size. Is that like way too large? I think so. Yeah, that's better. I used a very precise method of eyeballing the position of the vinyl. And with that sorted and pressed, the center stone of the outfit is done. The problem I had with these trousers is that our Patreons actually said that they really want to see the long pants, and I only had a tiny little sliver of the camo fabric that I wanted to use because we printed it as sort of like a remainder on the previous project. So I had to engineer them in a way that I could use the small piece of fabric on them, but it turned out that the fabric was not enough anyway, so I had to reorder the fabric. But in the meantime, I started making the prototypes. So what you're gonna see is actually from me doing the prototype. But I hope I can share some nice tips and tricks for you, so stay tuned for that. This time I really thought through my process of making these because I wanted to make sure that I serged the seams on the inside nicely, so I batched things out in a way that I could just run a bunch of things through the machine and then the serger all at once. I reconstructed the pant legs, which adds some visual interest, and if you top stitch your seam allowances, it adds 10 coolness points. So I doubled the top stitching and gave it to the next person. As you can see, often I am sewing something and pretending like I have it all figured out, while in reality, I am making shit up as I go. Let's do some quick tips. I use Wonder Tape. It's used mainly to install zippers, but I use it to prepare my pockets. It's a double-sided sticky tape that's designed to wash away. So make sure that you actually wash it out later, especially on light fabric, because the glue can turn like a yellow color. My second tip. So if you want to get very square pocket flaps, because I opted to do square ones this time, my trick is that before I turn it, I will press it right at the line where I stitched them to sort of already let the seam allowance know where it needs to be. So I first press the short edges, then press the long edge on top of it, making sure that I get a nice square corner. And then I grab my tweezers, these are from my serger, but you can get any tweezers, and just hold the seam allowance together. My tweezer is sort of pushing against this edge on the inside, and then you just do a little whoop, and it will turn out perfect 100% of the time. Let's see that again in slow motion. No, I'm just kidding. And it's beautiful. So yeah, that's my secret. Now you know. I have to kill you now. Also, I'm keeping my pattern pieces in this very cute folder that I got for free at Family Mart when I was in Japan, because it has anime girls on it. Nice and white. That's what Braids is today. I love that the tips just become random and hinged thoughts that I have. I would understitch this to the lining and then do the top stitching, but if you, like me, have better things to do on a bank holiday at 8 p.m, like playing your new VR maybe, then just skip that. But be very mindful that without the understitching, it's harder to do a nice job when top stitching, so pick your battles, guys. Then probably the inseam and then a little hem, and I'll be free. Barbara has a pants. Barbara is free. Ta-da! Ta-da! Yay! Welcome to Let's Do Something That I Think Will Turn Out Fine. First try, without me having to redo something 5 billion times.
And having too many constraints because I have too little fabric that I want to use and I'm not smart enough to order it ahead of time. Or actually I did order it ahead of time, but I didn't order enough. So now I would have to order more. And so I'm not sure it's gonna be the right vibe, but we're gonna do it anyway because the deadline has dead in the name. So if I don't do it, I will die section of the video.
Actually forked from Kim. We're just gonna do a longer sleeve. I'm gonna pull out all of my tricks for this. Namely, using a walking foot, using the proper needle, going slow, pinning a lot, and praying the sewing gods that it works. I might even pull out the twin needle for the hems. Who knows? Who knows what sort of mood I am in today? It's so obvious on the camera, but the pockets are on the wrong side. Ah! I love this job, I love this job, I love this job. Because I prefer to do things the harder way. I am attaching this in a round, which is gonna be hell probably. But I will baste it, as you should. Do you remember when I said that I would baste this? I'd rather suffer. For the record, I basted it. Baste! Yes! Seam in the back, no seam on the side. Beautiful all around. Oh, a little bit caught here, but like we're not gonna talk about it, are we? The sleeves have put up a fight. You can still see the blood. But yeah, just gonna sew the sleeves and do the nice hems with my twin needle. Hopefully this will go well. That's the wrong needle. She said, hopefully it goes well, knowing that it never goes well with this twin fucking needle. But it's fine. I love this job. Okay, let's see if I made any grave errors. It's gonna be a boy or is it gonna be a girl? It's a sleeve. Not to be confused with a slave. Let's try this on. Okay, so this is where we are with the blouse. Pretty nice. I think it's time that we address something. And that is this stain, this stain, this stain. This one looks like a beauty mark. It is because I was irresponsible before with black fabric. And I'll admit, I keep being irresponsible with black fabric. Yeah, I wanted to remove the stains, but then I got a bit scared when the cream bleached the color in the vinyl, so I am testing some products and will report back when we make the next Coco Girl, which is probably going to be another 2 years. It's been 2 years. The old printer is not really working with me this time. I'm hoping that just throwing a new printer at the problem will solve it. So we're unboxing this Saturn 4 Ultra, which is I think the newest machine from the ELEGOO series. They have very generously sent this for the review for us. So yeah, let's just get into it. Power tray. I think this is for post-processing. Manual. Emmanuel. And then there's the printer, so I think we're gonna have to put this on the floor to take it out. The new machine is not too heavy actually, and it was very well packaged. There was still a lot of things inside, but I'm already in love with the flip-up cover because we don't have a lot of space in our studio and putting the old cover away somewhere was so inconvenient. One thing I know that this is not compatible is the flexi build plate that I have on the previous one, so we'll see how I get on with this new setup, but I think it has like a nice textured thing here, so hopefully it's not too hard to release the prints from this. There's a USB stick of course, but also it has a Wi-Fi antenna because you can use it with your computer directly, which is awesome. A Chidibox Pro license, which is gonna be fun. I only used the basic software before, so I think this will allow us to prepare the prints a little bit more efficiently. I'll have a read at the manual and we'll see if we can start printing. I'm very excited. What's that, brava? Every single thing printed. Bogus printed. Honestly, this machine is pretty revolutionary for the hobbyist market as it has many features that previously were only on the very high-end machines, which to be honest, confused me a lot how easy this was to set up. We also have an AA camera on the inside. You can take a peek right there, so you can actually monitor your prints from your computer, which is great because whenever it fails and you can start reprinting faster, that's better. But I don't suspect a lot of fails are going to happen because this printer has the tilting mechanism, which is very good for helping with problems with like build plate sticking because it releases it sort of gradually. I'm sure it's gonna be just a breeze to print with. I feel like the build plate is also a bit bigger than the previous one, but I would have to check it. Visually, it's just so beautiful. Or maybe it's just bigger because I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna set it up and I'll tell you what I think about the print results. The build plate mount is so much easier to use than the previous design, and it actually levels itself. The whole build plate, you have to do nothing to make it level. Do you get it? I was honestly baffled at how easy it was to set up this printer. And I actually doubted myself every step of the way because I'm used to having to set everything manually. Here, you do nothing. It's ready out of the box. The camera is a very nice addition too, as you can always see how your prints are going, or you can be silly, which is a great bonus. I love being silly. The printer can also record a nice time lapse for you, and while it's not going to be, a DSLR quality, both of these methods are not perfect, so you can choose your battles here. This one's built in, so it's a no-brainer to me. Anyway, let's give Alex a print now to paint. Ta-da! Wheels! The detail is impeccable.
The prints turned out fantastic, and there is of course a little bit of sanding, but that's always the case, but the quality is really, really nice.
I painted all the skates parts, some of them with paint and a brush, some of them with spray paint, and then I added some details. The same with the headphones, spray first and then refining details with acrylic paints.
Now let's finally paint the 3D printed head. This is the most exciting part for me, and I hope for you as well.
The color change is drastic this time, so after the first layer I decided to switch to an airbrush. It's still possible to do a decent job with a brush, but since I learned how to properly clean and assemble my airbrush, I prefer this way. I already put some blush on her apple cheeks because I know on a dark skin like this, the pastels will not work. When I was painting Chloe, I had to figure out everything for the first time, and that took hours of sketching. This time, it went much smoother because I had some experience with this sculpt and I could look at Chloe while painting. My first idea for her lips was bright red, because red is her favorite color, but it didn't suit the boho/hip-hop/Brat Summer vibes, so I changed the idea to a black ombre in natural shades. This is still the first layer of the face-up, but the sketch looks good enough to start adding black liner and some colors on the eyes. I really wanted her to have bigger lips than Chloe, and I also didn't contour the nose so much, so she had a bit more black features, even if the head is very stylized. And because she's very demure, very mindful, I'm giving her a green cut crease. It's actually a graphic liner, but it works so well with the meme. Sasha has different eye colors on every drawing. Sometimes they're green or hazel or more gold. Girl, it's so confusing. Google says different stuff, Wiki says different stuff, but in the show, which is my biggest inspiration, she has half green, half brown eyes, so I tried to make her eyes with some pops of green, but it didn't look good. Well, I tried. And this is how it looks after spraying with Mr. Super Clear. The green got almost lost, but I'm not surprised. After adding a smoky eyeshadow, I grab my white vinyl paint and go over the whites of the eyes and teeth. You can spot here a few beauty marks. I added them because she has a few stains on her body that look like beauty marks, so why not adding them also on her face? While I have white paint on my brush, I'm going over my sketch of the eye makeup. It's still going to be green, but for the color to really pop, I have to make white base first. More pastels and more white paint, and now it's time for green. For that vibrant neon look, I'm adding a more yellow shade of green where I want the highlight to be, and more bluish greens in the center, but to blend nicely with the brown and black eyeshadow, I made the outer ends of the liner again more yellow/orange tone. Somewhere in the meantime, I added a lot of tiny white and brown dots to the corner of the eyes because I know that MSC will matte every glitter, so I decided to put fake sparkle effect there. As you can see, I can't decide which eye color to give her. Girl, it's so confusing again. The hazel, golden, brown, and green combo. But I think I like her the most with dark eyes. Lashes this time are not going to be super spectacular like on Chloe. I don't want them to ruin my toxic neon green makeup, so I'm pointing some of them down. It gives her a more laid-back, cool girl look, not to be confused with mean girls look. I'm adding some lighter lashes so they are actually visible. I added some more highlights and catch lights, but I didn't notice my card was full, so I didn't record it, sorry. I love her so much. I think she's prettier than Chloe, don't tell Chloe. But of course, they are very, very different.
I haven't made a pair of shoes in a while because I was away, but recently I did the ice skates and I really wanted to do a summer counterpart for them. So we're going to make roller skates for this one.
I was on a call with Mr. Enchanterium when I realized how rusty I was at shoemaking after a 4-month break.
Przecież to przerasta ludzkie pojęcie. Oh my god! Chciałbyś zgadnąć, jaki jest powód liningu, nie? Lining polega na tym, że robisz tak, że i z zewnątrz jest ładnie, i w środku jest ładnie. I ja właśnie przyszyłam lining odwrotnie. Także w środku jest druga warstwa brzydkiego. Ja mówię, kurde, ten marker tu będzie widać, trochę muszę to jakoś inaczej przemyśleć następnym razem. Może w ogóle to przemyślę następnym razem. Nie będę już tego wypróbować, ale kurde.
So this time I will fold these in and then put the lining the right way, which is the nice way.
The second shoe went so much smoother, and I already improved the pattern and my methods from last time. I think I need to write out a tutorial for myself, so next time that I want to make these, I don't make stupid mistakes like this time. I changed my workflow so I could stitch everything out on the machine and added some improvements here and there, like making my last separate and cutting out a bunch of the stuff on the Cricut. With the shoes lasted, I could glue the painted soles on, but the glue was not cooperating and then Alex came to distract me. But after a bit of fiddling with it, the glue came out of the bottle and it was all fine. The world, right? So interesting that that happened to me.
You should always look for unlikely places to find craft supplies. For the ties for the shoes, I'm using carp fishing accessories for fishing rigs for life. Shrink tube. So I'm just gonna pop it onto the ends so that we have nicely finished ties.
I screwed on the hardware onto the shoes and attached the wheels, and I have to say, I think they are cute, but you tell me what else I could improve.
Now that the fabric has arrived, I can make the final pants, which of course didn't go very smoothly because nothing ever does.
I was under the impression that the pants were gonna be camo and blue. So, well, that's why I did the test piece in this color, because I thought it was not gonna be this fabric. So, we are finally up on our luck that I was able to still have a little bit left to make the final piece in the actual color that it needs to be. Yay.
I had some strips to press for this project, so I decided to get out the bias tape maker again, and I can report that indeed, it does work if you set it up correctly.
I just wanted to let the record show that even though I had enough fabric, I certainly do not have enough of this thread. And I bought it in Japan in like a thread pack in Daiso. So I definitely am not getting this thread again. So I need to conserve.
I wet styled the pants to give them a bit of shape, and let's hope that it looks good enough.
That's supposed to be a question mark.
I added some elastic to pretend to be those ugly G-strings that stick out from the pants, but hey, I don't make fashion rules. I hemmed the top a bit because Alex didn't like the length, and I let her do the final details.
Y2K is nothing without accessories, right? So let's make some, starting from this gold body jewelry.
Last time, when we were using these chain connections, I got a lot of comments and DMs on Instagram. What is this? I have no idea what it's called in English, but it looks like this, and it can connect super small chains with a ring. This is how the jewelry looks, and I guess we don't have to guess the color of her underwear this time. I also added a necklace from the same chain.
Because I feel like designing a black character around white artist's album and music is a little bit underwhelming, right? Like, let's throw some black music inspirations too. So I picked Megan Thee Stallion, iconic Watashi wa Sta Mamushi song. And also I'm going to be referencing Kendrick Lamar versus Drake diss battle in the form of They Not Like Us, They Not Like Us.
Now I'm going to add some personality to the headphones, because you know, if your nickname is Bunny Boo, you have to have a bunny on your headphones. And then I'm painting the promised Watashi wa Sta on the other speaker. I don't speak Japanese, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong with the writing. But the white is not really exciting enough, so I'm topping it with a translucent toxic green paint. And after adding some shadows in the corners, it looks like this. I'm gonna give you a quick 360 look, and let's move on to the next reference. I feel like clothes from the 2000s, especially those inspired by streetwear and hip-hop vibes, had random texts everywhere. So why not adding a title of the song on one of the pockets? I thought about neatly cut vinyl pressed applications, but decided that the homemade vibe will suit it better. Time for a serious talk. But, you know, I might say something stupid, so don't mind me. I know the Not Like Us song, except being a diss on Drake, is about white people gaining from black culture, and if you choose to be cynical, you could say that this is what I'm doing right now, because I'm going to earn money on this video. That's one of the reasons we make dolls, right? But I hope you can believe in our good intentions of wanting to represent people of color more and being inspired by different cultures. We really don't have malicious intentions. So, while we're in the topic of money, our little hobby wouldn't be possible with the support of our patrons.
Our biggest credit goes to our top Lost Sister tier supporters, Stephanie Deer, Adia Bear, Call Me Ash, Barb from the Future, and Red X. Thanks, guys! Now that we had a bit of time, I want to thank our cousin patrons as well: Jamie Davies, Reese's Cup, Tate van der Veen, Dakota Rose, Rachel Cuddle, Sadie the Human, Art Boxy, Vague Vurig, Willa Vanilla, Hope Zed, North Soul, Finley, Laurenth, Celine Bobian, Sofa Cushion, Angel Silver Rose, Griffin Rose, Malachite, Maria965, Alea Knight, Whimsy, Whitetails, Hannah, Kit the Caroline, Jessica Shrestha, Awkward Cat, Kito Kato, Burb BTW, Ashley Priest, Krista Hopper, Dull Dragon, Cirrus Eden, Leon Jostings, DM Buckler Onna Smith, Jeanette, Kaylee M, Melissa Novoa, Rinth, Fan of TA, Ashley, Mikey Lemon, Amelia Blackwood, Andrea, Brielle T, The Barbie Witch, Bowen, Stephanie, Karaho, Jane Beck, Karabu, Dragon Art Customs, Ninja Star Dezino, Dream Up, and last but not least, Catherine Nathan. Thanks, guys!
So I thought, what would be more summer and Brat Summer than nipples? And I did something. I don't know if I can keep them, but let's see. Is this too much? Are they looking at you? They are looking at me. Is YouTube going to demonetize this video because of the nipples? I actually like them. I want to keep them. I want to keep the nipples.
They are staying. Please don't report this video. There's one thing I miss in her face, and I think about it all the time, and it's gloss on her lips. So I'm adding a dry top coat and curing it with a UV lamp, and with this little detail, she's ready for Brat Summer.
This is how she turned out.
This is how Brat Summer Sasha looks in our universe. She has her friend Lovecore Chloe, and they're ready for a fashionable adventure. This marks the halfway point of the Bratz series, so you can guess which girl will be doing next and when.
One thing we didn't mention is that the skates are gold because some of my favorite black Instagram skaters like Gimme Some Sugar and Also Precious have gold and beige skates and they look absolutely amazing. Mine are black, but if I'm going to ever upgrade, I'll buy myself a gold pair. Just like last time, I tried to put as many Brat album references in the voiceover as I can. So, if you're a fan of Charlie XCX, I challenge you to spot them all.
Big thanks to ELEGOO who sent us the new Saturn 4 Ultra. It's a really great beginner 3D printer, so if you're looking for one, that's a great start. And if you're looking to upgrade, you'll be blown away by how big of an improvement it is. Anyway, check out the link in the description for more details. We have a new exclusive video up on Patreon all about face-ups, so check it out. Have an enchanted day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!